I threw a simple housewarming party. Nothing fancy, just a few friends and some cold beer. Yet within 2 hours, there were cops all over my front yard, lights flashing, sirens blaring like I'd kicked off some kind of criminal conspiracy right in my own living room. Can you even picture that? All because a property manager named Rebecca, clipboard in hand and attitude cranked to 11, decided my peaceful retirement celebration was some kind of organized threat to humanity. I mean, you ever feel like your life's become a bad sitcom? That was me, standing there in disbelief, staring at 7 squad cars pulled up for a barbecue. Yeah, that happened. After 30 years running down criminals and closing cases, moving to Willowbrook Estates was supposed to be the victory lap of my life, you know? Just a clean, quiet place with pretty lawns, neighbors who wave, the kind of spot where Sarah and I could finally breathe. Sarah had this idea. Let's throw a party. Let's get to know folks. She figured burgers and music would beat months of awkward head nods over hedges. And honestly, she was right. We invited maybe 20 people, half of them retired cops I'd trusted for decades, people who'd put their lives on the line, people you'd trust to watch your back or your grandkids. Miller, bless him, showed up with that potato salad of his, and my old sergeant even wore civilian clothes for once. Everything was perfect, right up until Rebecca strutted onto my lawn like she was about to audit my soul. Tall, blonde, early 40s, business suit pressed so crisp it probably had a degree from Harvard, and a smile sharp enough to peel paint. The type who measures grass with a ruler and files complaints before breakfast, you know what I mean? She starts rattling off violations. Music too loud. Even though you could barely hear it over the sound of beer cans popping, cars parked wrong. Never mind half the block was empty. No party permission slip signed in triplicate. I keep waiting for the punchline, but she's deadly serious. Clipboard moving so fast I wondered if she charged by the page. That's when things got weird. Miller steps outside for more ice, turns ghost white, and stares at Rebecca like he's seeing a ghost. Turns out, yeah, he kind of is. She's his ex-wife, and their divorce was such a train wreck he'd switched precincts to get away from her. You couldn't write this stuff. Suddenly, it's not about noise or cars or any of that. Now she's ramping up, calling our gathering a potential corruption conspiracy, tossing out phrases like unauthorized assembly of law enforcement personnel and failure to disclose police affiliations. You want to laugh, but her eyes say she means every word. She starts quoting fines. $1, $200 for unauthorized events, $800 for noise, $500 for improper parking, all due in 2 weeks, or we're looking at eviction. I politely inform her I won't be paying for her fantasy violations. That's when Rebecca dials 911, reporting us as a public safety threat. I kid you not. Next thing, 7 officers roll up, most of whom I'd trained or worked with. The reunion vibe is thick enough you'd think we planned it, and the only thing getting arrested is Rebecca's dignity. The lieutenant asks if she's been drinking. My old sergeant laughs so hard he almost drops his burger, and Miller, deadpan, says, "Rebecca, you called the cops on a chief's retirement party? That's new, even for you." Humiliation complete, Rebecca storms off, but something in her eyes warns me this isn't over. 3 days later, a fat envelope lands in my mailbox. Certified mail, itemized fines totaling $2,500, due in 14 days. But her paperwork is all wrong. Codes that don't exist, threats that wouldn't hold up in traffic court. I start poking around, asking neighbors. An elderly lady 2 houses down paid $3,000 for unauthorized landscaping that Rebecca's own company fixed. A family got hit with $1,800 for drainage violations that never existed until her inspection. Every story follows the same pattern. Rebecca invents a violation, issues a fine, then offers her company's services to fix it. Turns out, she owns the property management company, the landscaping crew, and the dispute resolution firm. 3 names, 1 address, all hers. And just when I think it's a simple shakedown, I discover she's been intercepting tax notices, hiking property assessments, and selling consultation services to fix the very problems she created. It's like a one-woman crime syndicate hiding behind a homeowners association. When I start digging deeper, things get ugly. Late night, a sedan parks outside, camera lens poking through the window, then speeds off when I approach. Next morning, there's a dead fish in my mailbox with a note. Retirement should be peaceful. Stop digging, or it won't be. I'm not easily rattled, but that's real intimidation, and Sarah's ready to call the cops. Instead, I reach out to Chris, my old partner from organized crime. He's seen scams like this before, racketeering with fake business fronts and harassment. Within 2 days, Chris uncovers records showing Rebecca's collected over $300,000 in fees that never show up on any county permits or official contracts. She's draining the community dry, funneling money through shell companies. And when we start gathering evidence, she fires back hard, filing a restraining order, fabricating witness statements, even inventing a neighbor who claims I threatened her. Here's the twist. When Chris checks, that neighbor doesn't exist, and the judge who signs the restraining order is a close friend of Rebecca's lawyer. Suddenly, residents who once talked openly about Rebecca's fraud clam up. One family moves out in the dead of night. The old man on the corner won't make eye contact, and the neighborhood's gone quiet. Just as I'm about to run out of leads, that old man on the corner, the one everyone thinks is harmless, approaches me quietly. Turns out, he's an undercover federal agent tracking property management scams that target retirees. He's been building a case for months and has connected Rebecca, whose real name is Martha Kellerman, to similar operations in 4 other states. With his help, Chris and I piece together how the scam works. Martha, Rebecca, targets retired cops, gets their info from corrupt insiders, and moves them into her managed communities, then bleeds them dry through manufactured violations. The scale is staggering. Hundreds of families, millions in stolen retirement savings, and at least 2 suspicious deaths of whistleblowers before ours. Our investigation is suddenly federal, and the stakes are way higher than some HOA drama. We find an encrypted flash drive in Rebecca's trash, and what's on it chills me. Email threads about problem homeowners, references to Chicago methods, photos of my family, lists of targets. The agent confirms Martha's suspected of witness elimination, arson, poisonings, staged accidents, all tied to anyone who got too close. Now I realize that dead fish was a warning, and the danger's as real as anything I ever faced on the force. The federal task force plans a coordinated raid, but Rebecca's too slick. The night before, my security system goes off at 2:47 a.m. Someone's pouring gasoline around my foundation, ready to torch the house. But years of cop paranoia paid off. My motion sensors trigger sprinklers and lights. The would-be arsonists scatter, faces caught on camera, and within minutes, federal agents swarm in. At dawn, raids launch in 5 states, rounding up Rebecca, her lieutenants, her corrupted lawyer, even the judge who signed those bogus restraining orders. Standing there in my driveway, smoke still curling from where the fire almost started, it hits me. This wasn't just about a party or even about my retirement. This was about every family who thought they'd found a peaceful place to grow old, only to get hunted by predators hiding behind clipboards and fake authority. Would you have kept fighting, or would you have paid and prayed they'd leave you alone? The fallout is something you only see on the news. Dozens arrested, millions recovered, stories pouring out of families who'd lost everything. Rebecca's mask slips entirely. She's just another con artist, screaming that she gave us order, while agents cuff her and neighbors cheer. The court voids every fake fine, pays restitution, and the old HOA is replaced by a real, resident-run association. Property values jump, families come back, and the place finally feels like home. 6 months later, at her sentencing, Rebecca, Martha, stands in front of her victims and, for the first time, has to admit what she did. The look on her face as she apologizes to that old lady who paid $3,000 for flowers is pure defeat. Justice, finally. Chris starts a firm to help other communities root out HOA scams. The agent runs federal training, and I get offered a consulting gig, using everything I've learned to protect people like us all over the country. 1 year on, we gather by the fountain where Rebecca's SUV crashed, now rebuilt as a memorial to the people who fought back. Kids play, gardens bloom, and the house that used to be the villain's den is full of laughter and birthday parties. Life goes on, better than before. But if you think this story is over, you're wrong. Rebecca's last words haunt me. You have no idea how big this really is. So, let me ask you, what would you do if the people running your community turned out to be criminals? Would you stand up, even if it meant risking everything? Drop your thoughts below. What's justice look like to you? If you've got stories of your own, share them. And hey, if you believe in fighting back, support the channel, hit that like, and subscribe. Because sometimes the only thing standing between a community and chaos is one stubborn person who refuses to back down.